Here's how we remodeled this super average bathroom for less than $200. It looks entirely different, and this is every single thing we did along the way. This is a nearly 5-minute video because I'm including everything, so feel free to stick along for the whole thing or just slide to the end if you want to see the results. If you're looking for a relatable DIY page, this is the page to follow because we're not doing insanely high-end remodels, things that are extremely difficult. We're just trying to do everything with no experience and in a way that I think anyone can do. As you saw, we cleared out the bathroom, removed the tile baseboards, and are just doing things to prep for painting, like putting caulk in the corners to make sure they're nice and smooth, as opposed to having the rough edges like they had before. We prefer smooth walls, but these ones were already textured and it would have been a lot more work to skim coat them, so we just kept the texture as is and decided to go with white for the entire bathroom. We did multiple coats to make sure it was a nice clean white, and then it was time to replace the light fixture. Basically half of our budget went into buying this $99 light, but we liked how it looked in the bathroom. We got some new light bulbs, screwed everything into place, made sure the light worked, and then put in the covers. We decided while we were at it, let's go ahead and change out these switches and the outlet since they're so cheap. For the old heater, fan, vent, light thing, it had one of those round dials and it was broken, so we put in a new one of those. It was then time to refinish the cabinet, which was my favorite part of this whole video. We pulled out all of the doors and drawers and all of the old hardware and prepared for the new paint. Once that was out and ready to paint, it was time for the Wagner paint booth, which is a massive plus when you're using a paint sprayer. We bought it on Amazon and it's been a huge hit on our page. We laid out all of the cabinet doors up top and the drawers down on the ground. Once everything was laid out, I got out my Wagner Control Pro 170, which is my new favorite paint sprayer. As you can see, the hose goes directly into the can of paint, and the paint that I'm using on this is called Tricorn Black. These shots are so satisfying because this really is how easy it is to use the paint sprayer. Within a couple of minutes, all of the fronts of the cabinets were completely done and they looked perfectly smooth. I made sure to do all of the drawers as well, and I like to do the insides just to keep them matching. Every single time I use my Wagner sprayer, it leaves a perfect finish just like this. Once I was done with the front of the doors, I decided to go inside and paint my cabinet box while I had my paint sprayer out. Again, within a couple of minutes, it was completely done. I let the cabinet doors dry overnight, and then I flipped them and got them ready to do the backs. I let everything dry for the next day, and then it was time to put the doors and the drawers back into the cabinet. I could have reused the old hardware, but I had some extra silver hinges that I had used on a separate project in my garage, so I went ahead and used those on this. I will say, they're not the highest quality hinges. They're cheap on Amazon, but they do the job, and this is just a guest bathroom. Because of some user error, I did touch up a couple of spots in the cabinets that I dinged, and then it was time for the countertops. We were using this Homax Tough as Tile kit, which I just followed the instructions on to get everything prepped. It requires a lot of cleaning and prep work just to make the surface as smooth as possible for what you're going to be painting on. For some reason I took a break from doing that and just threw in the flooring. I think it's just my ADHD kicking in. I got out my multi-tool, undercut the door jambs, and put the flooring in. We had 3 extra boxes of this Pergo laminate flooring laying in our garage, so I decided to use that so it wouldn't cost us anything. Since I'm using this on the countertops and the tile in the shower, I taped everything off to prepare it for the paint. I then started on the first coat of this Homax paint. I knew it was going to take multiple coats, and so I was pretty impressed after the first one. It finished really well, the shine was nice, but little did I know I was about to have a lot of problems. Like I said, the first coat finished really well, but the fumes are extremely strong and toxic. So you have to have a mask that blocks organic vapors, and I had a fan that was ventilating out of my window. I was even blocking off my door because they were so strong. I started on the second coat and realized I was getting a really strange texture where it was starting to dry. I was not only getting that texture on the tile in the shower, I was getting it on the countertops, and after a little bit of research I realized it's because the fan that was blowing all the fumes out of the window was also allowing all the heat from outside to come in the window. With heat comes humidity, and humidity does not allow this to dry well. Long story short, I had to do sand and refinish all of the countertops and the tile before buying another container and doing another 2 coats. This was a massive pain, and we almost considered just ripping it all out and doing a whole new project, but I really wanted to stick it out because this is the cheapest way to do it. All in all, it actually turned out pretty well after 2 more coats and making sure that the windows were closed while I was doing it. I let that dry and seal for 3 days, and then I came back in. I put in all my quarter round for the laminate and made sure there was silicone to keep the water from going under it around the tub. I taped off the mirror on both sides and painted it the same black as I painted my cabinets. If you know a solution to the problem I'm having right here, I'd love for you to comment it. Every time I remove tape, it always bleeds through the bottom. Now I've tried frog tape and I seem to have the same problem, so it must be my fault. Fortunately, it wasn't a big deal. I just rubbed it off the counter and then used a razor to scrape the paint off of the mirror. Once that was done, I did a little bit of spot cleaning around the bathroom and cleaned up any paint or anything that dripped on the flooring and just made sure it was nice and clean. I'm not really one to decorate, so Olivia will come back and actually decorate this bathroom, but for now I just wanted to show you where it's at. As you can see before, it needed some serious work. It was a lot of brown, dark colors, and overall just pretty dirty. It looks really clean now, and honestly the countertops and the tile in the shower both look pretty good. That's the entire DIY bathroom remodel on a budget. Thanks for sticking to the end, and make sure to follow for more projects like this.